This is Gateway City Sports. This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show, only on Gateway City Sports.
Good morning, everyone, on this lovely March day. Nice and sunny here in central southern Missouri. So I'm excited about the nice weather finally coming around and deciding to, show itself. There's a few things that we have to talk about, talking about nice weather, a couple of things. We're going to get into some, NFL talk, and we're going to talk about some of the signings, some of the stuff that's kind of coming about right now, the new news, if you will. Try to say that 3 times fast. New news. But what's going on in the NFL? I'm going to update you on the St. Louis lawsuit thing and what's been going on there. We're going to talk a little bit about spring training. So we got a few things that we're going to cover today. It's not going to be a super long show. We're going to try to keep it south of 30 minutes so that way you guys can get about your day, and let's get started. So let's start off first with spring training and what's been going on there with your St. Louis Cardinals. There's certain individuals that I am not surprised that they are doing well or they are doing okay. Other players that I am very surprised with their lack of production. I cannot say that I'm surprised by the decline of Matt Carpenter. I don't think that there's really anybody that has followed the Cardinals as closely as we over at Gateway City Sports, or, there's other entities out there that have followed it very closely and have said the same thing. The decline of Matt Carpenter has been shocking, to say the least, but obviously the upsetting part to us fans is, you gave him all this money. Just remember, they gave him that money as a retirement gift. That was his go-away package. That was, okay, at the end of this, I'm retiring, I'm walking away, I'm done. He's done, folks. He's not going to another team. They're not going to trade him. This is his retirement package. It's over. Is it possible he goes to another team and plays another year? They want to throw obscene money at him? Sure. For a left-handed bat, bench bat, whatever, pinch hitter, DH. But he can't even hit his weight at a batting average right now. And what's kind of going on with that entire situation. There's an article over on SB Nation, and they just had put it out yesterday. Because as of today, what is it, the 24th? Yeah, the 24th today. They put it out as of yesterday, the 23rd. And it's titled, Examining Matt Carpenter's Downturn. Now, the one thing that I want to show you guys over here is, and you won't be able to necessarily see any of the writing that's on here through this little window, but I'll just give you the cliff notes of it and kind of talk through that. But once again, preface it by saying I'm not really surprised. Talking about the overview of Matt Carpenter's career and Matt Carpenter's batted ball metrics, all that sabermetric stuff that people are just bonkers about. Some people are bonkers about, but it really shows you the decline over the years from 2015 to 18, 2019 and 20, and that change and difference. Swing and miss rates and swing percentages and contact and just all of that stuff. Soft contact, hard contact. It's all there. And it's eye-opening, to say the least. But once again, This is not necessarily one of those things. If you want to go over, check it out. It's over on SB Nation, VivaAlbertos.com. And you could check that out. You could read it all you want, and it's good information. I read it. It's a really great article. I was happy with it. Now, here's the thing. The one that I am slightly surprised about is how bad that he has been during spring training has been Harrison Bader. I know my main man, GB Sports out there on Twitter, Gene Bonds. Brother, I know how you feel about Harrison. And it's almost prophetic in a lot of sense of how you have felt about him and how poorly he has done sabermetrically wise. I mean, just period. Let's pull up his stats and let's just get a real good feel for what he's doing right now, stat-wise. It's not good. It's not good. Because he couldn't even hit water if he fell out of a boat right now. That's really kind of how bad it is right now for his spring training stats. It's sad. So right now, here's the rundown. And we're going to come over here and we are going to change panels. And this is over on MLB.com, so this is official numbers. He's had 28 at-bats. He's had 1 run, 3 hits. No home runs, 1 RBI. He has a 107 average. That's, like I said, it's not even just weight. A 187, a 167 OBP, and a 310 OPS. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. What is going on here? This is supposed to be your center fielder. This is supposed to be your starting center fielder for this year. Give me a break. Who in the hell is this guy? I would have almost rather had Dexter Fowler in center fielder than this clown. Oh, great. Oh, yeah, elite defensive player. He strikes out a ton. Like I said earlier, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. I can go on with a million different sayings. I'm not trying to bash on Harrison Bader, but he is not an everyday center fielder. He's just another Peter Borges. And I know you guys remember him. He's just another Peter Borges. Great defensively, great speed. Can't hit nothing. Bat is made out of Swiss cheese, whatever it is. Listen, it's this simple. When it comes to Harrison Bader, he's playing for his next contract, okay? So he's trying to elevate the balls that he hits so he hits more home runs. Home runs are sexy. Home runs get you paid. The Cardinals organization has looked at Harrison Bader as a Bryce Harper light. He's a poor man's Bryce Harper. That's the way the organization has viewed him. I don't care if anybody wants to get on there and say, oh, you're full of crap. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Come on. If that's really the case, then I invite it. Tell me that I'm wrong. But I'm sure that there are a lot of educated people out there that look at it the same way that I do. And they say, he's on to something there. Or, oh, yeah, I thought the same thing. You could have all the defensive runs saved that you want. And you could look at sabermetrically how that will save you runs and do all the city thing. It's a proven fact from Billy Bean's mantra in the early 2000s, runs win you games. Yeah, good pitching is always nice, but runs win you games. Runs wins you games, period. So when you're putting a player out there like that, and he's having a showing of that nature, this is what we're talking about when we talk about the inability of a player to be able to play within their strengths. Vince Coleman was as fast as lightning. He stole bases. He hit the ball on the ground. He hit it to the gaps. He did what was necessary in order to get on base. That's what he did. Ozzie Smith wasn't a power hitter. He wasn't corking home runs. Same thing with Willie. They weren't doing that. They didn't do it. They hit to their strengths. They weren't trying to play outside of the scope of what got them to the show. Your swing and your play is what got you to the show. Why change it? You know, there's a great interview. I don't know if it was really an interview necessarily, but more of a BS session between Frank Thomas and I believe it was Alex Rodriguez was there and Pete Rose. How ironic that you have three players of that categorization together BSing about baseball. And the one thing Pete Rose said, and as much as a lot of people out there want to bash on Pete Rose because, you know, gambling, this and that, and he tarnished the game, he sullied the game, whatever, okay. They all do it. They all have done it. He's just the one that got caught and he lied. That's really what this was. And this was all payback for the White Sox scandal and the gambling thing and the blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into baseball history and flog a dead horse. But when they were standing there talking amongst the three of them, and they actually have an interview. So let me see if I could pull it up and find it. But it was a great interview and how he was discussing batting and how to hit the ball and how to stage and all these different things. So mind me for a moment while I pull that up for you guys because it's just a really great interview. Okay. So we've got this thing pulled up. Let me get it loaded up for you guys. Make sure there's no ads for it, okay? Because there are always ads. All right. Now we got this thing. Well, hopefully we've got this thing loaded. No, apparently it decides it wants to play 15 ads. Thank you, YouTube, for that. But here we go. Let's get this pulled up here real quick. And let's get this thing going for you guys.
Right just like that? What size bat?
34, 33.
Never less than 35, never more than 36 inch.
Really?
What? 35, you mean?
No, I use 32, 33 ounce.
But
35 inch. One time I used a 36 S2, but I choked up like this. See, let me tell you why. Because when you get into a lull, you never admit you're in a slump. Don't ever let a pitcher tell you you're in a slump. I would tell people you do one of 6 things when you get into a lull. You know what they are?
Yeah.
Okay?
No, tell me.
All right? Closer to the plate. Further away from the plate. Up in the box. Back in the box. Choke up in the bat more. Choke down in the bat more. Make it heavier, make it lighter. Never change your swing. Your swing got you to the big leagues. You change your positioning in the batter's box. Curveball's getting to you. Move up on it. You're not getting to it. Move up, move back on it. They're jamming you. Move away from the plate because what they do, everybody charts every game that you play nowadays. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to go 0 for 20, Frank, and have 15 at bats where you're pulling the ball and 5 where you're hitting it over first base. You're going to develop a pattern. And you make your adjustments based on the pattern that you developed over 20 at bats. And if you're swinging and missing, you're pulling off. Hit the ball right back up the middle. You can't pull off, you hit the ball right back up the middle.
How did people get you out? How did they pitch you?
When I first came up, they tried to knock the bat out of my hand. That's what, when I was batting left-handed, I was back here. I wasn't nowhere close to that plate. The only way you could jam me is if I swung the ball that far inside. But I went into everything. I used to think I could hit the ball inside to left field, batting left-handed, better than I could the other way, because you get all your power when you go like that. All right? I can have the same swing. That's going to left field. This is going to center field. This is pulling. Just the difference in where my hands are. Same swing.
Wow.
Pretty simple.
Pete, that's church. That's why you got 4,200 hits.
Well,
That's good stuff, buddy.
That is really good stuff. I really like the back in the box, for the box, up in the box. Never thought of it like that.
What was the pitch that
Never
gave
thought
you
of
the
that.
most trouble?
well, fortunately, I didn't see many. A screwball.
Screwball.
Yeah,
How about you, Frank?
because the
that?
screwball works against being a switch batter.
Yeah, right. We don't get too many of those right on right.
No.
What was the pitch that you said gave you nightmares?
I would say the best pitch in baseball is a slider, hard slider.
Hard slider from a righty.
With tight rotation.
Right on
From a
right.
righty. Righty on right, tight
See,
rotation.
that one for me because it's always coming into me.
Right, exactly.
That's it's a big advantage to be a switch batter if you can hit from both sides.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
For me, it was a split finger because I just looked like a fastball.
That's tough too.
I
Well,
don't
we
know
didn't
if I
have
hit a
split
good-
fingers when I played. They called fork balls.
Fork balls.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You can always tell if a guy's throwing a lot of fork balls. You know how? The catcher's missing a lot of balls.
Exactly.
Pete, the
Because they
one-
bounce 'em.
The one pitch that you would have hated is this new cutter. I mean, it's really changed
Yeah.
the game.
So, they go on to discuss several different theories and ideas and mentalities and mindsets when it comes to baseball. And it's actually a really interesting interview. So if you have a chance and a time, go and watch the rest of that interview because it's really a really eye-opening interview, especially for people who don't really necessarily grasp the full game of baseball. Maybe they enjoy it, maybe they understand certain aspects of it, but just that idea of moving forward in the box, moving back in the box, in, out, just all of these things, choking up on the bat, choking down on the bat. It's almost simplistic things, and especially whenever you're in youth baseball. I was in youth baseball growing up, and the fact of the matter is that it was a lot of things that they had told us to as well. Was choke up on the back, choke down on the bat, make sure you step up in the box, step back in the box, and it's a lot of things that I think that certain particular people have forgotten, and it almost seems that Harrison Bader has done the same thing, and he has forgotten where he has come from. So I think now is the time for the Cardinals organization to start to really look at, is this really where we want to go going forward? Is this who we want to be putting all of our eggs in our basket with, or do we want to do something else? So that's really my gripe on the Harrison Bader thing. We'll jump over the comments real quick. Got a couple of comments over there from Thurman. It's sad they could have signed Tatis Jr. and Luis Robert for the money they extended Carpenter. That is true. I truly think that Karen Carpenter would be a better option than Matt Carpenter. Don't step on Karen. Don't step on Karen. But yeah, there's a lot there to unpack with Matt Carpenter and Harrison Bader too as well. Love to see John Nagowski really putting it together and really making a case for this might be his last shot in the big leagues. What is he, 28, 29, something like that? He's getting up to prime years. So now's the time. If he's ever going to play, it more than likely will not be for the Cardinals organization. Maybe it's for another contract with another team, and they might play him. So hopefully he can manage to get something put together. I'd love to see him get a chance or get an opportunity. That would be amazing. I love to see players come up and do that and make some changes and have a second life, longer resurgence. So let's talk a little bit about the NFL news and kind of everything that's going on. The Chiefs made a couple of signings. They picked up offensive linemen from Patriots, and and they've done a couple of things, and it's all good. I love to see my man Jordan Ta'amu still on the team, and they've got 4 quarterbacks now, and they've got like 15 running backs, and all this other stuff. Even though they hardly ever run the ball, but they're making some good moves. There's still a lot of moves that need to be made on the Chiefs end, and that's my Chiefs kind of talk for today, for at least this show, because there's just not really a whole lot going on with the Chiefs. So I'm kind of interested to see what they end up doing in the draft. I'm really interested to see what's going to end up happening with like the top 15, top 20 picks. I would say about the top 15 picks. I'm really interested to see who goes where, if trades are made, if something happens. Still have the Deshaun Watson thing that's going on, and obviously the accusations of, let's just say, bad behavior, so to speak, from Watson, whether or not they are true or not. They are not being officially investigated by the police, as far as I know. The NFL is doing an internal investigation of the situation and the accusations that are being made, so that's good to hear that at least it's being investigated. But from what I'm hearing, and I've heard it on several different shows, I'm a big fan of the Pat McAfee show, so Pat, love you, bro. But they were kind of talking about it just the other day that there's still 2-3 teams, and I believe they had Adam Schefter on, and that was one of the things that they talked about, was that there's still about 2 or 3 teams out there that are really interested, and they could potentially be making a move. I really think that we're probably looking at something like the Chicago Bears possibly making a move. I think the signing of Andy Dalton over there in Chicago was really kind of a farce. I think he's their second plan, their plan B, so to speak. I think their plan A was try to get Russ Wilson. They tried to pick him up. That obviously didn't work out. The Seahawks wanted way too much, or whatever the deal was, or they just weren't, biting on the deal. They have enough capital to be able to make a deal like that. So do the Jets. The Jets have enough capital to make a deal like that happen if they want to pick up Deshaun Watson. But the concern has to be, with these accusations that have been levied against him, is that going to deter the market on what he could potentially get, what the team can potentially get in return? That remains to be seen. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just doing fantastic. They're resigning everybody that needs to be resigned. They did great in free agency this year. Good for them. It's going to be interesting to see what the Miami Dolphins end up doing, if they're going to stick with Tua, if they believe that that's really their guy, or are they going to go out and make a move for Deshaun Watson, try to pick him up. They have the capital too. We're just going to have to wait and see, because the Texans got to do something to get draft picks back, because O'Brien just absolutely just decimated that organization and took so many good picks away from them for the next 2-3 years. It's really going to hurt them a lot. They're in a lot of hurt. So they need to do something there. That's really just kind of sitting around waiting for the draft and what's going to end up happening there. It's we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm excited about it. Like I said, I think it's a sure thing, sure bet. Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. He's going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hopefully he's more like a Peyton Manning than he is a Ryan Leaf, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how that whole entire thing pans out. Hey, that was pretty good. We made pretty good time on that. Covered the spring training stuff, covered a little bit of NFL stuff that I want to talk. Oh, before I go, we've got 5 minutes left. Let's go ahead and burn it. Let's talk about the never-ending saga that is the NFL lawsuit in St. Louis. I want to update you guys on what's going on with that. Now, there are a couple of steps that if you guys want to look at this on your own time, there's 2 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to go to courts.mo.gov. Courts.mo.gov. And you need to go to the CaseNet tab. You go to the CaseNet tab. You need to put in the case number. And that case number is E as in Ed, D as in David, 106282-01. Now, what that will do is that will take you to this case header that's here. And the circuit court case number, you can click on it, and it'll take you right to it. But the court case number is, if you want to go ahead and put down a circuit court case number, it's 1722-C as in cat, C as in Carl, 00976. Once you click on that, it will open this header. and it will give you all of your entries. And let me tell you something, they've been busy. They have been busy. They have subpoenaed a lot of representatives and a lot of different political figures in and around St. Louis and in the state. They have subpoenaed just a mass of people. They have subpoenaed the entire Missouri House of Representatives. They have subpoenaed the entire Missouri State Senate. Every single thing that they have done, they are trying to do. Now, the one thing that I want to point out here, this is the big one. It's the jury case trial. It's right here. And I know because I highlighted it in blue for you guys, but I'll read it off to you. That they changed the date because the original date was October 21st of 2021 or October 22nd. I can't remember. It was in the end of October. Was the original court date that was scheduled. Now they have changed it to January 10th of 2022 at 9 a.m. This is all due to it was 10/25. There we go. 10/25 October 25th of 2021 was the original court date, which was supposed to happen. Now they have extended that to January 10th of 2022 for no other reason than the coronavirus pandemic and having all the courts shut down due to that fact. Now, they have filed multiple motions. They have filed multiple subpoenas. They have filed proposed orders and things like that of a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, motion for leaves, things like that the NFL continues to do. They continue to try to circumvent the process. They continue to try to slow the thing down. They continue to try to do it's, and there's a reason for that, guys and gals. There's a reason for that. And the reason that they want to slow this thing down is because they know their goose is cooked. It's cooked and it's ready for Christmas dinner. They know they're done. They're just trying to slow this thing down. So you want to check it out. You want to go do those things. I'm going to give you those numbers again. And the original number for the court case is ED. E as in Ed, D as in David, 106282-01. And as soon as you open that up in CaseNet, and that's on courts.mo.gov, it will give you this 1722-CC00976, and you guys can look at all of that. It will bring this header up, and you'll be able to look at all those things. Another interesting thing is that it has all of the people that are involved. That's the main councils, the co-councils, the city of St. Louis, the county of St. Louis, the National Football League, and all of the other different organizations that are involved in it. So it's a really good resource for everybody out there that wants to know what's going on and wants to stay up to date without constantly having to phone into a radio show or send them a text message to a radio show or an email to a radio show host or whatever, or someone in the media and say, what's going on? What's happening? Or sit around, literally waiting by their radio, hoping to hear some kind of tidbit of news or information. This is how you can stay in touch, and this is how you can stay in tune on the daily. Literally every single morning, you could go in and you can check it out, and you can update things as you wish, because this stuff changes usually once a week. So I always try to get in there at least once a week and check. I don't try to do it every single day. There's a lot of other mumbo jumbo and stuff that goes on, but definitely check it out. That, I believe, is going to do it for today. So it's a great show. I had fun. Hope you guys had fun too. I'll see you back again here next Wednesday, and we'll have another round of it. And so, until next time, Derek King Sports Show. Catch you guys next Wednesday. You guys take care.
This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show. Only on Gateway City Sports.